it needs more. Oh no, because actually next time I am going to do the front box because it's not going to need scanning, so I am using my brain. I just need to take a seed box with a few litres of seeds in, and then that'll be fine. Can I get the fill trigger from here? No, I can't. Bit too far out. Right, we need, let's set this going on field 6. Glad we're not doing any contracts as well. This is, I'm loving this. We've definitely got enough fields at the minute to actually get us going. I do like this when, I don't think I've actually done this. Six, 9, 6 and 20, 18, no 24. Course generation, field 6, headland passes, let's go for 3. Ooh, perfect. Save, field 6, 24 metres. Let's have a guesstimate. How many of these do you think? Field 7 is smaller, I would say 3. 45 tonnes. Right, where are we? We want you, don't we? Wow, I'm well chuffed with how well this is doing. Not much to clean up, looking at this, which is nice. Current. Have we got any contracts near 15 while we're there? We have. Oh my life, that was an absolute dream of a job. You don't get that very often. Across the road. Now I also know why this goes wrong. I've moaned, I'm literally editing my 30s, episodes 30s. Now this did work with the 18 metre caster. It doesn't, this is too big. For going around the island, it can't fit a headland in. So yes, the best way for me to do this is truly to do traditional workers, to do one run down here and then to use a traditional worker. But the reason Courseway doesn't like it is it can't cope with down here the 36 metre cast. It can't work around how to sort that out. But I keep going, oh, Courseway's broken on this field. Well, not exactly broken, it just can't fit a course in with this equipment around this little island, so therefore it goes, no, I can't do it. It's not broken, it's literally like going, no, I can't work this course out with this equipment, because if you use the 18 metre it does it fine. So again, it's literally, sometimes some equipment can be too big for the job with a weird setup like this. So let's just get this going up and press B. Lovely, that should do the job nicely. How are we doing on, I would imagine you're getting close to be running out. Oh, you're not yet. Got a minute. Have I field sense? Ah, did I field sense this? Did. So that, did I lime it then? Is that why it's not absolutely caning the lime? Because I've already limed it once and forgotten that I've done it? I can't remember liming it though, unless the crop that was in before was not, oh, I don't know, no. Usually on the first time you lime a field it absolutely destroys the amount of lime. But I obviously did scan the fields. I probably use the Fent GT, to be honest, to actually achieve that. the only way I can think of scanning the field. With little narrows on, it's the only tractor I've got with narrows. That would have meant I would have had to put the front 3-put link, because the scanner I've got, you have to do it on the front, which means I would have needed a weight on the back. I can't recall doing that. But I've definitely got the data, so... Unless, I may have done it after the fact. I might have done it when I was collecting the, oh no. No, I would have gone straight from the harvester. It was soybeans, wasn't it? Now that's a bit of a conundrum. Did I I could have set a tractor going afterwards. With my memory, it's not surprising that I've forgotten it, but it isn't caning the amount of lime, which suggests to me that it has been limed already. Because the first time you lime it, when it's had no lime, it's like so thirsty for lime, it drinks absolutely tons and tons of it. Whereas this 15 tons is going, yeah, really only another couple of rounds. I think we will need some, but this would have definitely been way more than 15 tons on a first time. I would have thought I wasn't far off actually with 45, so it does suggest Banderant is wobbling a bit. Another young lady. I don't know. Political correctness. Gone mad. All for equality, but not inequality, where someone overcompensates for political correctness in a world gone mad. I say it as I see it. I've seen so much political correctness in my time. I think the very first instance of political correctness, I'm a firm believer in equality of race and creed, colour. In fact, I am a Christian, so it does really come in the territory and remit of a Christian for that kind of thing. Not that that in itself means that you've got to be. I've known people who've professed to be Christians and who have got different beliefs to what Christ would have. Oh wow. So that's 48, 96, about 140 odd tons. That's amazing. Right, let's just grab this loose bit up and do any clean up that needs doing. Yeah, the first bit of political correctness, not that it was called that when I was a child, was Robertson's jam. Now Robertson's used to have the gollywog icon as their icon, their emblem, you could say. It was clearly identified, and the first time I remember as a child, and gollywogs as well, and I've been told off for saying it, but that is what they are called, so I am not in any way, shape or form being derogatory or saying anything bad. I had a gollywog as a child, I did, and then all of a sudden gollywogs literally were taken away from me as a child, as if like it was wrong. And I love my gollywog. As a child I had no understanding on why all of a sudden, I don't think it was ever explained to me, no one said why, because again it's all with that most political correctness, a lot of the adults are like, well, this is ridiculous, why is this happening? But because everybody says it's the right thing to do, no one questions it and just takes it away. So I would imagine there were quite a lot of children like myself that were like, oh, what's wrong with my doll? What's wrong with my gollywog? You know, this toy that I've loved ever since I was since you could remember, all of a sudden was whisked away from me for some reason that no one was really explaining, which at my age was quite obvious, was the fact that I wouldn't have understood racial equality and racial slurs and all that type of thing that everybody was implying that the Gollywog was doing. Now obviously I do remember the black and white minstrels, and I know again that would be now a show that was politically incorrect. Right. Wow, so we actually did manage. Whoa. With 14 litres to go. Oh wow, that is amazing. Wow, that obviously that must have been limed once. It's got to have been, surely. Either that or no, lime requirements aren't based upon the crop, are they? Nitrogen is, but no, lime is just lime. So yeah, so I still remember to this day as a child, that feeling of why have I got my Gollywog taken away? I mean, my grandma was a lovely human being, to be honest, and I know for a fact she would have tried to explain to me in some way, shape or form, but then again I think I was very young. I could only just truthfully remember Robertson's Jam. I must have been 7 or 8, so I could remember. It's going to take a while. Let's try not to lose my tack on this, because it is important. I don't wish to sound like I'm racist or anything like that, because I'm really not. I do believe Black Lives Matter, but I also, and I will stand up on record and say this, I think all lives matter. I think when we get divided and talk about black lives, now I'm white, and there's no way I could ever pull the race card. Ever. People talk about equality, but that's not equal. A black person and an Asian person is capable of pulling a race card at an interview, which is something that as a white person I can't do. And I know people are going to, things are in your... Are they in my favour? Is that equality? Is that equal? I'm sure there are many white people that, like myself, can see this. Now, I'm also going to be totally honest. The likes of Martin Luther King are absolutely, in my eyes, really very great people. So is Gandhi. I don't base greatness upon skin colour or upon race but upon the individual themselves. And I find people like Gandhi, in fact, a lot of my, I would say, heroes are not just men. There are many sort of great women that I admire as well throughout the ages of history. Joan of Arc, one who stands up very much. I'm not saying that I agreed with everything that Joan of Arc stood for, but that her heroism is legendary. What she stood for, what she did, the way she stood up. I mean, there are many great men who've equally done the same and been burnt at the stake and for all sorts of things, not just to do with Christianity either. I'm talking about great acts of heroism for humankind. As Martin Luther King, absolutely amazing individual. So I'm not basing my beliefs on skin colour, but upon that person's integrity and deeds in their life. So yeah, I'm not in any way racist like that, but when people start to go Black Lives Matter, yeah, of course they do, but when you separate and you're just saying Black Lives Matter, you're also saying that everybody else's don't, and that's equally wrong. I'm sorry, but Black Lives Matter equally, along with yellow, red, white, any other colour, which again I find another thing amazing. I think there was somebody sacked earlier this year for using the term coloured. Well, coloured comes from the base colours, and colours actually are covering everybody of every skin colour. So what's wrong with that then? Why are people offended by the term coloured? I'm coloured, whether I'm white, brown, red. So why could I lose my job for saying the term coloured? I don't get it. I really don't get it. Why people in this politically correct madness that we have presently, I'm going to do that quickly, why certain terms have become so silly and people are so oversensitive about it. Of course Black Lives Matter, but all lives matter. Isn't it life itself that really matters? Nobody should be put down because of anything. And if there were no bigots and nasty people, the only trouble is when... Right, okay. Do you know, there's too much going on. I hate this when you get into big political things, because with my memory I'm liable to forget exactly what I was on about and where I got to in the argument. Not that it's an argument, but it is a discussion, really, truthfully. But although, no, I will stick to argument, because it becomes an argument, doesn't it, in most people's eyes. Right, where did I put the... Well, I love the fact that precision farming means that you use so little fertiliser that you still class as fertilising. I know it's not cheaty, because it's the system. I'm working within the system, so what can I say? I'm doing what I'm allowed to do. Right, let's have a look. Any more? Field 26 is on the other side. Field 19, 16. What's close to me? 30, 31, near the 50s, aren't I? 49, ooh, which is across the road. 49, accept. Any 50s, 51 and that lot? Yes. 55 as well is at the bottom of this. In fact, that's first on the way. Accept. Right. Okay then. Let's get going. 55 it is, and then we'll go across the road. Now then, we're just going to look the easiest way. I don't have to be going across the fields, even though technically I have got... I could go around the edge there. Oh, this is the one though where it's got that. Where's the gateway? Ah, it's there. Not sure this time if I'm actually better to go the roadway to 55 because there's that fence in the way. And I think you've got to go halfway up the field to get to the... Yeah, so to be truthful, there is a lot in life that people dare not speak about. I don't know, I just think it's lives matter, whether those lives are white or any other colour for that matter. Whoa, yeah, that was totally my fault. Thank you very much for writing that. That was totally my thing, because I'm more involved with the argument than I am concentrating on Farming Simulator, which is a little bit naughty of me, I know, but then it is an important argument or an important discussion that you don't want to give people the wrong impression, because I know I'm going on about political correctness, but the truth is I know that I truly value all lives, and that it's not based upon any colour or creed. And I know that not all white people feel the same way, but I do. I feel very passionate about all lives, and don't like this division where there are certain black individuals that are being racist towards every other race and saying that their lives matter more than every other skin colour. Now, I do know in the past blacks have been terribly, and I mean, coming from England in the, I think it was the 14th century, there was a huge thing where slavery was massive in Britain. The whole of Britain, their trading system was based upon black slaves coming from Africa. So I understand that, I mean, not that all blacks come from Africa, but it is where you would trace many black people's origins from. I've got some friends who are black, and in no way, shape or form do I agree with slavery. I think it's disgraceful. Of whatever form, there is modern slavery as well, where a different kind of slavery to that slavery, and that's not based upon skin colour, which is just as disgusting as the original slavery of the black people was back in all of the previous centuries. Anyway, let me just set this going. 55, headland 3, we'll leave it on 10%, go. Fantastic, drive course at first, go. So yes, I just think sometimes there is racism of others where they are saying my race matters, which is then saying but yours is inferior, mine matters and yours doesn't, which that's actually just as disgusting as a white person who's a bigot, who's in the Ku Klux Klan, that wants all blacks dead because they're black, or not dead, but you know, that they're like trying to say we're superior because we're white. You're not superior at all because you're white. Oh, have I done that again? I think it's losing sight of the real argument. It's the fact that all lives matter, not that black lives matter any more than white, or white matters any more than black. So again, I just think the world's gone mad, absolutely crazy. Most people then say are too upset about upsetting people, which I understand, but the truth is, I feel equally important that white lives matter, and in no way do I think that is more important than black or Chinese people or Native Indians of America. I think it's all of our lives matter. So I'm not going to say white lives matter, I'm going to say lives matter, because I think as soon as you start dividing, you're saying me, I'm more important than everyone else, my life matters more than yours, and it doesn't. Sorry, but you've lost it. I think Martin Luther King would have been one of the first people to recognise the fact that if an equality had been reached, that black lives were no more important than white, no more important than yellow. He was trying to come from an inferior position because blacks were being mistreated. That has to be recognised. It has to be recognised that blacks were mistreated for centuries. I recognise that. History recognises that. Most people recognise that. But right now, there is a righting of that wrong. And of course, don't get me wrong, there are still some bigots who are black. There are some bigots who are white. There are some blacks that hate whites. There are some whites that hate blacks. So I'm not saying we've reached that position where, but I am saying there is an inequality now where there is an overcompensation, as in this game with the lady agricultural things, that they're now seeing probably 70-30%. You'll see 70% ladies workers and you'll see 30% men. Maybe 60-40, but that's not right. That's not true to real life. Why are we trying to overcompensate? Why do black lives matter more than white? Why can you use a race card in an interview and you can't if you're white? That's not equality. That's unfair. The very depiction of the word unfair is biased, and it is biased. It's the bias that's gone the other way now, and that's not right either. So yes, I will stand up and I will say that all lives matter and that there is a definite bias, but it's not all. I've been through training recently where we were on equality training, and I felt awful being a white male watching the training, because I felt that whoever made that video was saying that white males were the reason that the whole world was wrong, and I thought, this doesn't seem right to me. This seems to have gone as mad the other way as it is that I'm not personally to blame. Maybe some white people are, but are you telling me that there aren't any racist black people or Chinese people? Or because I'm sorry, I really don't think that that's true. I think there are racist people in all races, and that it's, I don't know, it's mad, absolutely crazy. No doubt I've offended a lot of people, but I would stand by every single thing that I've said. I can't think there's a single mistake that I've made in what I've said, that I think all lives matter. And I'm not going to be swayed by black bullies or white bullies. I think the Ku Klux Klan and any such disgusting thing, fascism, they're all absolutely disgraceful to me. I think awful and should be abolished, but I know that people are around like that. I truly do, that are racist, but that doesn't mean to say everybody is. And to sort of lump me in because I'm white as one of those racist people, by extension, because I'm white, is equally offensive as it is to go on race. When you say Black Lives Matter, so mine doesn't because I'm white. I'm sorry, but that argument is invalid. It's disgusting. Just as disgusting as all of the terrible things that happened and still happen to black people. I remember in the training that I'm talking about, it was talking about, I've got a black friend who actually asked the question. I said, is that true? Because it was saying that a black person walking around a store in a predominantly white area, in England, predominantly white, although I don't know that that's true anymore. I know an awful lot of mixed communities now. It may have been true when I was very young in the 60s, maybe 70s, but I'm not quite so sure that's true anymore. But nevertheless, it is apparently still true. I said to my friend, is that right? I said, do store detectives then tend to favour, do you always get looked at as though you're stealing? And he said, well, yeah, I've got to be honest, that is quite true. So I mean, that is shocking. Something that obviously, being white, I am unaware of, and that is an equality that a wrong that needs righting. But that doesn't mean to say that all. Again, it just reflects that some of those white store detectives and black store detectives, apparently, it's not just based upon white, for some reason seem to think that blacks commit more crime than whites, and they're looking in a bad way towards black people coming to the store. Well, that's obviously wrong. I understand that, and so do most normal people, but that in itself doesn't mean that everybody feels that way. And that's obviously a wrong, and just goes to show how far the moral compass of humanity still needs to go. But it doesn't mean that my life as a white person isn't important. Right. We need to zip over to the farm and get that. Oh, I know what I need to do before I forget. Let's get that sorted. So yeah, I don't know, it's world has gone mad. That's actually quite nice. I like that cobbledy type thing. To see, does it look nice though? Does it suit? Yeah, I think it does actually. Doesn't look bad. Now that could do with a different shape. Let's see. Shape it. Oh yeah, but then it's not. No, that's when it goes wrong, isn't it? When you at a weird angle. That'll do. The grass won't grow there anymore. That's the real sort of important thing. Not in this argument I might add, but in this particular instance. Yeah. Yes, I think so. Political correctness, when people are starting to lose their job because they've said the word coloured, proves that society itself has gone so far off, is afraid to say questions, so they might appear to be something which they really weren't. I come from, I mean, when I was a child, the term coloured was the correct term to use for black people. That is what I was brought up to say. So the person in question that got fired for using the term coloured, you also got to bear in mind that when he was a child, that was the term that was correct. It's very difficult to go against what you were taught as a child. Those words sit in your head. There's many sayings that obviously today would be not correct, but you've got to fight that training that you were taught as a child. That person was trained that to use the word coloured was correct. And again, coloured actually does cover all colours. It comes from the base word colour. So it isn't wrong. It's mad to say that the term coloured is wrong because it covers everyone. So the fact that he said someone was coloured, well, they are. They're not discoloured, are they? They're not lacking colour. So why is that term offensive, which is equally valid to any race? It is the most neutral comment anyone could ever use in the English language towards colour. But because of the bigotry and small-mindedness, and I mean, people call them snowflakes, but to be honest, snow's white and pure. But snowflakeism, or whatever you would like to term it, is definitely not pure. It is dangerous, bigoted, small-minded thinking that is absolutely ruining the world, and it is absolutely terrible. And we all just seem to be just sitting back and letting it happen. What's that old saying about when good men or women do nothing, evil prospers? I think this is another case in question. Absolutely. I think the rest of society, we're all just sitting back and letting these so-called snowflakes just take over, and we're quite happy to allow them to do that without saying, oi, this is wrong. All lives matter. No one dares correct someone. I remember the day that awful event happened, and I cannot remember because again, his name doesn't matter. It was the atrocity that happened to him. There have been many black people and many white people stabbed to death since that incident where the police killed that individual, and it was atrocious, absolutely vile act. In no way am I saying that black life did not matter, because of course it did. That was an atrocious act of a bully and a bigot, someone who was full of power and using a power that they got in a very bad way. And that's happened many times since, and will happen many times again. There are many people in power that are bad people, and that's nothing to do with the skin colour. And whether if that person had been white, I'm going to reverse this. Let's use a bit of reverse psychology. If those coppers, American police, had killed a white person, would we be even talking about this now? Isn't that wrong? That black life matters, of course it does. And what happened to him, that individual, which it doesn't matter what colour skin he'd got, that act was disgraceful. That's the important thing. The fact that we wouldn't be talking about this if it was a white life, that actually is equally as bad as if we are talking about it, because it's a black life that matters. Of course it matters, but that just proves that everything's gone mad. Because it shouldn't matter that person was black. It shouldn't matter that person was white. The bottom line is that act was atrocious. That was the important thing. It was disgraceful. That should never have been should have happened to another human being. That a policeman, a person in authority, killed a person, and in that instance, it obviously, we don't know that. Was it just the heady intoxication of his power? He knew he could get away with it. Was it hated black? I have no idea. Absolutely no idea whether it was that particular thing, and I don't think anyone could ever prove or disprove that because they weren't in that person's head. It is still, the bottom line is the act was wrong, and it doesn't matter that it was a white, black or yellow person that it happened to. The act was wrong, and I think the second you lose sight of that, then you are equally wrong, because you're imbalanced and unfair. To say your race is more important than mine, or mine is more important than yours, that is what gets the world into the trouble in the first place. If I start to say I'm American and well, not that I am, I'm American, so therefore I matter more than everybody else. No, you're not. You're not. Your nation is far more powerful than probably almost any. Maybe China could equal or be better. I don't know. I wouldn't like to put those two giants against each other, but certainly would recognise the fact that they are giants. But so that makes you more powerful, and so therefore more feared if one was going to pit you against other things. But certainly doesn't mean in a battle of fairness that shouldn't matter. Americans matter no more than Germans. It was that caused Hitler, fueled Hitler's pride to say that Aryan lives were more important than anything else. And look where that got the whole world, that kind of thinking. So that's dangerous thinking. But it's certainly nothing to do. I think we're losing sight of what we should be arguing about, which is lives matter, not any particular creed or colour. We seem to be going into separatism and division, that's dangerous thinking as well. That's exactly the type of thinking that got Hitler where he got to. Right, need to drop this while I spin around. I don't think I've taken the trailer far enough around. Yeah, I thought I was going to do that. Right, I need to drop that because that's causing me trouble. And then I need to straighten up. Oh, wheel steering is absolutely amazing. No, clipping that edge. Right. So yes, I don't know. There are some times that I'm afraid to speak, not as a white person, but as a human being, because I don't know what to say, or I have to police every word I say in case I'm going to offend someone, offend the white community, offend the black community, and I'm sorry, but it shouldn't be like that. I shouldn't be afraid to speak for being sacked because I've said something that was maybe not. I'm not racist, but that doesn't mean to say I'm not capable of making mistakes of speech that could offend someone. Of course, I can do that. We can all make mistakes and say something we don't even believe that could literally get us the sack, which is ridiculous. But it is getting to that stage where you talk to most adults and really it's getting silly, getting frightening to contemplate not speaking because you might offend someone. That's silly. But unfortunately, it is also true. Right, hang a left. And I think sometimes we have to take a stand whether that offends or not, because if we feel strongly about something we should stand up, unless of course we are talking about racism, true racism, which is a disgraceful thing. But when you are standing up for all races and you're saying, look, it's not right the way that things are going, I think we have all got to stand up and say no, it can't continue as it is. It's not on course. I suppose that we will see whether everybody did stand up and say that, whether actually bigotry and snowflakism, whatever you like to call it, would go away. But I'm not sure. I think there are many bigots in society, so I'm not so sure. That's field 26, because that's only up the road. Probably do that next time, because to be honest, I think this will be my last contract I'm doing today. Actually, I've gone a bit overboard. I've got very passionate about my argument, or the argument, because it isn't mine, is it really? It's the world's argument. It's the world is the stage, and it has gone crazy. Right, where have I? Let's grab that. Let's pull straight back, or I'm going to clang into the side. Let's shut that gate. We don't want any of the cows escaping. No, didn't quite catch the trigger. Which surprises me because they are very good triggers. Yeah, so there are sometimes I seriously wonder about the human race from a human point of view. Some of the arguments seem totally biased in themselves. I think we need to re-evaluate what equality actually is. I think we've lost sight of what fairness is as well, another thing that's sadly lacking in society. True fairness, standard of justice, real justice. Right, let's get this done, and this is the last thing we're doing. Now I think it's actually time to, I think what we'll do is that we'll put this into the biogas plant, and then we will literally go to sleep, and that's where we'll leave it. Wow, this is a powerful tractor. It's tugging those things around like the little tiny 96 tons. They've not grown even to that. Yeah, they're still tiny little twiglets, not grown at all. It does take a while, to be honest, in seasons for them even to take that first growth stage increase. So it's not really surprising that they're still teeny weeny little saplings. Which is, I suppose, true to life when you consider that I planted these, how many months ago now? 3 or 4 months. The growth wouldn't be amazing, would it, on little tiny trees? Not for a while. Although I would say less than a year if they'd rooted well. Small trees tend to grow quite a lot initially and then slow down as they get older. But then again, I suppose that probably varies from tree to tree. Yeah, so we've covered some quite hot subjects, which no doubt will, if anyone watched my channel, would get me into hot waters. As it is, with the amount of subscribers I have, I will probably get away with this. Oh, what are you doing? Yes, my subscriber base is teeny weeny, so I can probably get away with these type of alright, let's just put that where it normally goes, and let's put time up to, no, let's do that when we start to dump, actually, when we put this into the digester. We won't do it until then. The lights are on though, so it must be getting dark. Oh, I already... No. Ah, right, that's why. I'm going to say I normally... Let's put time up to about 60 for processing these two. In fact, maybe 120. I know that's quick, but it is... Let's put some lights on, because no doubt it's going to get dark quickly at times 120. But sometimes I do think we have to stand up publicly and make a statement like that, to stand up and be counted as a human being on what we do stand for and how we do it. Oh, that's not bad. Oh wow, perfect timing. Let's see. It's not finish you until you've finished, which is any second. I'll just get you to the edge of the field. Let's stick some lights on though. I don't know how the workers can work in pitch blackness. Let's go to the topmost right edge, and they should leave me there, and they should come and pick me up with the, oh no, I've got field to contract 26 to do next time, but they will grab the truck, I think, and take me there rather than going by my own steam. Right, let's go up. Oh yeah, let's grab those. The contract is complete. Collect. Why did I do that? I wanted that screen still. We want to go. So oh no, we don't. We actually not finished, have we? We'll grab the digestate some other time. We do need to switch the engine off though and the lights. I don't want to believe in that. I bet we're about 50% now in the silo-ish. I would have thought late 40s anyway. Let's have a look. Yeah, 44, not late 40, so. Right, let's go and sleep the night. Now then, which way am I facing? It's amazing how different it looks at night. The orientation's completely different. Right, so, any comments? Please, by all means, leave them. Let's sleep the night. So we are, what time are we at? 8:25. Till 8:25 in the morning. Not by, I guess, what we're going to get. Ooh, not bad. Not bad. We didn't dump an awful lot. We should get quite a lot of digestate. No great demands. Always when you're waiting for great demand, one never comes. Actually, that surprises me because we actually put 2 loads of manure plus that beet pulp, didn't we? As well. Actually, no, I'm thinking, not, I'm being silly. If digestate, would there be 50,000? Only one. That surprises me as well. But I suppose it does take quite a bit to get a full amount, to be honest. So yeah, 26. Yeah, I've got quite a lot of that grass. Yeah. Oh, we've got some straw. That one's putting into the. Yeah, they both want. So that's another job I'm going to have to do probably this coming session, is to sort that. We also need to. Is this? No, this is still growing yet. It's not actually finished. So yeah, need to nitrogen and pH lime that field as well that we've just done. Let's just have a quick look at our fields before I. Yeah. pH. We need to sow field 7 as well. And we need to seed field 6. We have nothing in there, we just have it perfectly ready. So yes, we have. Oh wow, that's actually growing straight away. Amazing. Not planted, growing. So they're both cultivated, so that what we need to do this time is literally plant 6 and 7. Now I have ignored this, but I cannot really ignore it any longer. The fact is that obviously I've got a 10 metre caster and a 6 metre. I think looking at the size of field 6 and 7, although I know I want to buy equipment, I think truthfully we need a larger seeder. So I think, to be truthful, I am going to, that'll be the last where I'm going to leave it, is to buy my, I threatened to do this earlier, so I'm going to do it. Which is a planter, my go-to. This is my bigger one I have always had. Still don't know that I can afford it brand new though. It would take such a huge chunk at a time I'm trying to save up for the field, so I'm going to literally buy one that's used and we will get it fixed up and resprayed, which is still cheaper than buying it brand new. Trailer, let's go for a 3 point. There's not much in it, to be honest. But I suppose if I go trailer, mind you, no, I'm only really using the truck for. That's something else probably I could do with, and that is a proper truck, as in a lorry, as we Brits would say. So the last thing I'm going to do then is I'm just going to go and repair that, otherwise I know what I'm like. Well, I suppose actually, let's just see how much it would cost to repair from the garage. If it's thousands and thousands, I will go and... Mind you, don't know, do you? Does it tell you? It doesn't, does it? No. Doesn't tell you, does it, until you've done it, and then you like think, gulp. Right, so let's get the stage 2. Let's drop this. What are we at now? Oh, 70%. So by the end of today, that should be about right. And we can get that into the digester, or get that grass into the compost heap, and that's 48,000 of straw, which I remember it was raining on the day that I stuck it in there, and I've forgotten it was still in there. We also need to clean that mess up at some point. I will keep the little planters and seeders though, because you never know when you're on a big job, and obviously this will do even the sugar beets, but I do love this. It really is brilliant. It's just the way it pivots sometimes on some of when the workers are using it, that sometimes makes it a bit gangly, why I stopped using it. But also, actually, it's not really the width. Even on English maps, this is a mod you can actually get away with, because it's not terribly wide. Let's repair that. But yeah, repair. But that would have been 3 times that if I'd have done it in the other way. Oh, yeah, let's repaint it. I know it's going to cost me a few thousand, but again, it's still less than if I would have bought left repaint. Oh, there's a lot though. Gordon Bennett. That's 75,000 though, in comparison to 100 and something, so it costs 3/4 of the price, and it has got obviously some serious hours on it, but of course we've had it serviced and bad parts replaced, etc, etc. But you can't get away from the fact that all of the innards and the wires and all of the innards of this are obviously old, so it is what it is. It's not worth, if I sell it I won't get anywhere near the value that I would if it was a new one. Right, did I actually fill that? Yeah, I did. No, that's not what I want to do. Right, so this is me signing off. 267,000, which seems to have stayed pretty much at the same. We will clean that mess up next time. I hate leaving messes like that. That was a bit of it did sort of work, but sort of not as well, which is bizarre, because normally that works perfectly. Don't know whether it's something to do with the floor type or what, but that normally works on a field. I've done that many times, because that can be used as a proper pickup, like a shovel, truthfully. So I don't understand why it's not picking that up before it starts to pour it out, but we've got the means to fix it. That's what we'll do next time. Anyway, this is me signing off after this exceptionally long episode. We have achieved quite a lot. Let's just recap what we have done. We planted our feed. We've done quite a few contracts as well, which I never intended to do. We've cut all the grass on there, literally got that all into the silo. We've bought a few items. We've done all the manure over at the farm, and we've also refed those. Just got field 26 to do. That's the last contract we've got on hand. So we've done all those contracts down there, and we did lime that, and it's already pH, I think, isn't it? Yeah, it is pH almost perfect, but I'm sure by the time now that we've got that cedar planter, we will literally be fertilising as we go. So again, it'll only be really liming, 1 cast of lime, and we'll be seeding and putting nitrogen as we going forwards. And we've now got a bigger planter that will do all. I love that. It's an absolute amazing mod. It really is amazing. So the only thing that has always put me off a little bit is It just seems a bit long for the attacher and seems to do weird things sometimes. So that's my only thing that I've ever had against it, and why I've stopped using it for a bit, because it's the smaller ones you don't get that because they're smaller, whereas the bigger ones they do. If they've got a funny pivot point, which that's all on that pivot point, it does sometimes weird things. But anyway, that aside, I'm going to say thanks for watching, and I hope you're going to continue on this journey with me at Lone Oak Farm, and I'm going to say goodbye for now.